Hi, friends. Welcome to Goddess Garden Book Chat and another exciting episode. I'm so glad you returned for this great book review because today we've got the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. This is my third John Scalzi book. I have such a good time reading what he's putting down. So hopefully you do too. We're diving deep in this book that asks, what if Jurassic Park was a good idea in another dimension, right? So settle in, friends. We're crossing worlds today.
Ever get that feeling your pandemic hustle could have used, I don't know, a little more giant monster action?
Mm.
Because let's be honest, delivering sourdough starters, it just didn't quite scratch that particular itch for us.
Ah, right.
But hold on to your hats, seriously,
That's
because
fair.
we've plunged headfirst into a story that completely redefines career change. We're talking creatures that make rush hour traffic seem positively cuddly.
That's putting it mildly. Forget your average creature feature. We've done a deep dive into a review of John Scalzi's The Kaiju Preservation Society.
Okay.
And we're here to bring you the most fascinating bits from this really imaginative world.
Think of this as your backstage pass to understanding a hilariously inventive take on, colossal monsters.
Exactly.
The review we've been digging into, it really highlights how Scalzi's novel gives us this unique lens to see these massive things through.
Right. The core idea, and the review really unpacks this, is it's set in the near future.
Right.
And there's this alternate reality, Earth adjacent, you could say, and it hosts kaiju.
Ah, the main event.
But here's the twist. They aren't just, city-smashing titans. They're described as complex, self-contained ecosystems.
Wait, ecosystems inside the monster.
Inside the monsters,
Yeah.
vital to their dimension's balance. And there's this group, the Kaiju Preservation Society.
To KPS.
Their whole mission is safeguarding these creatures.
Okay, so the review dropped a comparison that really clicked for me. It called the KPS an ethical and, get this, intelligent Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's a great way the review put it.
So forget escaped T-Rexes rampaging around. This sounds more like a large-scale conservation, like really large-scale.
Precisely. And our way into all this is through a character named Jamie Gray.
Okay, Jamie.
The review really emphasizes Janie's starting point, which is super relatable, stuck in the pandemic gig economy.
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that, got this slightly worn-out delivery bag.
Right. So it makes Jamie's sudden jump into the KPS world even more, striking. Jamie essentially becomes our eyes and ears,
The audience surrogate.
asking all the smart questions we'd probably be asking if we were suddenly dropped onto Kaiju Earth.
I mean, can you even imagine going from, figuring out delivery routes to maybe bumping into something the size of a small mountain?
Yeah, exactly. And the review introduces some of the other key players Janie meets. There's Tom Stevens,
Tom Stevens.
an old acquaintance of Jamie's. He's the initial kind of mysterious link to this whole KPS job.
Oh, how mysterious.
Well, the review hints the recruitment process is actually pretty funny, but, cleverly avoids spoiling the joke.
Keeping us guessing.
Ah.
I like it. Who else?
Then there's Dr. Shannon Claremont. The review paints her as the brilliant, very direct, no-nonsense science lead.
Probably necessary when your subjects are, enormous radioactive space dinosaurs. Or
Literally are.
pretty much. You need someone direct. Then there's Dr. Kaharangi Singh.
Okay.
The review highlights their really deep knowledge of the kaiju ecosystem, all the complex science stuff happening inside the kaiju. That seems to be their domain.
Wow. So the science goes deep. It really sounds like it. And then Dr. Naima Ahuja is mentioned too,
And their role.
balancing that scientific rigor with genuine compassion for the kaiju themselves, which is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, that adds a layer. Science with heart, sort of.
Kind of. And then, of course, you need conflict. The review points to Rob Sanders as the main antagonist.
Ah, the villain. What's his deal?
He seems to represent that classic threat, exploitation, seeing these incredible creatures, this whole other world, as just resources,
Right. Potential profit over preservation. Always a danger.
always. So it's quite the cast Jamie falls in with. And the review makes it clear the plot kicks off with Jamie just needing a job, any job,
The pandemic struggle again.
which then leads to stumbling upon this alternate Earth and its rather large inhabitants. The danger is obvious, not just from the kaiju, but from people like Sanders.
Okay, but let's circle back to that living ecosystem thing, because that really grabbed me from the review's description.
It's wild, isn't it?
Seriously, let that sink in. Not just a giant creature, but a creature that is an entire environment, like a mobile rainforest, a walking ocean.
The review suggests possibilities like that. It's a genuinely mind-bending way to rethink the whole monster idea.
Totally. What does that even mean for biology, for life itself?
Good question. And apparently, Scalzi makes these huge concepts really engaging. The review raves about the witty writing style.
It's funny, too.
Very funny, it seems. Sharp dialogue, sarcastic humor. So even when they're explaining, say, the bizarre physics of kaiju biology...
Which could get dense?
Right, but the review assures us it avoids getting bogged down in jargon. The humor keeps it moving, keeps it fun. It's not like reading a textbook.
That's key. That mix of, like, genuine scientific curiosity, but also just sheer wonder and excitement, the review really played that up.
It did. Respect for the science,
Right.
but never losing that thrill of discovery, that sense of awe.
And for the audiobook listeners out there.
Ah, yes. The review gives a specific shout-out to Will Wheaton's narration. Apparently, he really nails Jamie's perspective, brings all the different characters to life really vividly. Sounds like a great way to experience it.
Good to know. So, okay, boiling down the review's verdict, what are the main takeaways?
Fast-paced, clever, genuinely funny. A really fresh angle on the giant monster trope.
And it touches on bigger ideas too, right? Without being preachy.
Exactly. Responsibility, greed, our relationship with the unknown. It's all woven in there, according to the review, within this really imaginative story.
Which makes you think, I mean, could you imagine trying to create, like, ethical guidelines for interacting with something that is an entire ecosystem?
Right. What would the prime directive even be in that situation?
Yeah.
How do you approach conservation when the thing you're conserving contains, its own weather patterns?
It really does push the boundaries of how we think about conservation, or even just our place in the universe.
It does. And
Yeah.
it makes you look at our own planet's ecosystems maybe a bit differently, too. Though, thankfully, ours don't usually try to step on us.
Usually. Good point. It amplifies everything, the wonder, the discovery, but also the potential for things to go very, very wrong.
And the review subtly points that out, too. That human element, the temptation to exploit. It adds that necessary tension. It grounds the fantasy just a little bit.
So, wrapping up our deep dive here, the review of the Kaiju Preservation Society shows us a novel that's, well, captivating. Original premise, this alternate Earth, these kaiju ecosystems.
Mm-hmm. A relatable hero and Jamie Gray finding their way.
A cool supporting cast, a clear villain.
Inventive world building, lots of laughs, but also something to think about underneath it all.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you, listening out there.
Go on.
If these kinds of incredible living ecosystems really existed, what would our responsibility be? Could humanity, being humanity, actually resist the urge to mess with it, to exploit it?
Or maybe on a lighter note,
Oh.
after thinking about the ethical tightropes the KPS has to walk,
Yeah.
does that time you delivered lukewarm pizza during lockdown suddenly seem refreshingly simple?
Huh. Definitely puts things in perspective. Okay, thanks everyone for joining us on this particular deep dive.
It's been fun.
If we've sparked your interest, definitely consider checking out John Scalzi's The Kaiju Preservation Society.
Or maybe grab that Will Wheaton audiobook the review recommended.
Until next time, keep exploring those fascinating corners.
Keep asking questions.
Hi, friends. Welcome back from that interesting deep dive. I enjoyed this read. I hope you'll enjoy it too. But instead of doing sort of an outro about the experience, because really it's just a sci-fi fantasy novel, it's one of those nice little fun reads that you have in your collection of far more deeper books like The Three Body Problem. Sometimes you got to pull back from something that heavy. And so I thought in the comment section, I would put a light little quiz about this great work and give you a chance to really interact with the book. The quiz will be below. The answers will be on the Discord page. Again, I really want us to have conversations about some of these great reads, if you've read them, if you find them interesting, and what are you reading? So please feel free to subscribe. Join us at hashtag 11goddess or regular 11goddess when you get to Discord. I would love to hear from you. Let's enjoy talking about this and some of the other great stories we have here in the Goddess Garden. So until next time, friends, I will talk with you soon.